ver la pantalla, sí, ahí está.
Sí. Bueno,
Sí.
listo. Entonces
Entonces
voy
yo les
a...
hago una presentación y ustedes luego continúan, ¿listo?
Dale.
Bueno, buenas tardes, bienvenidos a esta sesión del Seminario de Desarrollo Profesional. Ahora vamos a tener la presentación titulada Process and Strategies to Develop Communicative Competences in Introductory English A1 Courses in 2022 2 in the Bachelor's Degree in Foreign Languages English at Uniminuto por Samuel Antonio Barreto Pinzón y Sebastián Concha Vargas. Listo, muchachos, todo suyo.
Okay, thank you, Jorge. So, as you have said, we are going to present the results of this research project, which was carried out during the second semester of 2022. And we are going to do it in English. And if you have any further questions or anything, so at the end, you are free to ask. Thank you so much for your attention and thank you for your attendance. So, first of all, we are going to, as the title has stated, we're going to interpret the causes and the strategy of specifically the low level communicative competences of students who are enrolled in the introductory English A1 course. That is a course that is located in the first semester in the bachelor's degree in foreign languages English at Universidad Minuto de Dios, Uniminuto, in the main campus. So this investigation was based on the perceptions of professors and students of this course during that semester. So first of all, we had to identify after collecting the information. I'm going to talk about that these stages of the research. After collecting the information, we had to identify first the main causes and the main strategies that these students had or presented, taking into account what professors and students, only these students, stated about them. So after we described, like we narrated the causes and strategies that were firstly identified and finally they were analyzed, taking into account the analysis process. So we had a convenient sampling procedure that I'm going to explain after. Then first of all, we are talking about, or the context is the Corporación Universitaria Minuto de Dios, which was established in 1992, and in the bachelor's degree in foreign languages with emphasis in English, which was founded in 2010, but the new plan was established in 2018 after the accreditation of high quality by the Ministry of Education. So, taking into account the data, there are like 157 new students, and there are like kind of there are between 7 and 8 introductory English A1 courses. So we selected exactly the people who had a low level of English. After, I'm going to explain how we identify this type of students or this population. So in this case, when we are talking about the time, we focus on people who were enrolled in this course during the period of 2022 second semester 2022. So in terms of UNESCO Sustainable Development Goal, we chose the one that says it is wanted to develop a high quality education, increasing the offer of qualified teachers, because this degree program or this undergraduate program is focused on educate future teachers or professors of English and then other language, either in French or Portuguese, um, with a high quality competence in the language, in research, and didactics, among other subdisciplines. So, why students of this course should have an appropriate level? First of all, according to the Ministry of Education, people who graduate from high school, they should have a B1 level, English level. And according to this same institution, people who graduate from this bachelor degree in foreign languages, they must have a C1 level. That is a requirement that the program has. Well, the problem was identified taking into account a survey first, in which professors identified the low English level students, taking into account their performance in class and their academic performance, their grades in different activities. So we can see here that the number of people who were chosen were 46 students who had a low English level, language level. So this is another way to show, to identify the people who had a low level of English. So that was based also on a survey applied to first semester students, taking into account that when they start their classes, they had to present a diagnosis test, a key test. See, a KET, key English test. So we can see that 67%, 68, almost 68, they have a A1, A2, and 12% they have a minus A. So that was a way to identify the problem. And then, okay, the data analysis process started to collect and prepare the information. So this information was collected, taking into account the triangulation of instruments, as we used interviews with the teachers, with the professors. We had focus groups with this population, this exact population, and also an e-survey that was completed by this population as well. Later on, we had to carry out the analysis process. So first of all, we had to codify the data using the codebook to check all the data using the Atlas T program. Then after that, we created the categories of analysis from major to minor themes. Then we had to interpret, taking into account our background knowledge and what we have researched about the problem with other articles and experts. And then we represented the results that we are going to explain later in this presentation. Talking about the population, we, as I told you before, we chose the convenient sampling procedure. It means that we chose the students who had this low English level and the professors who had or who were able to um being interviewed. So there were seven professors, five professors were chosen, and 45 students were chosen for this investigation to collect the information that was needed. So there were three collecting instruments. The first one was focus groups. So if you can read, we inquire about the English level they had when they started their major. We also inquire about the most common difficulties when they were in this course, their times, their self-discipline to carry out or to improve their English level, the strategies that they used outside the class, the strategies professors used in class or they proposed to apply for the students among the others, and recommendations they had for the university, for the program, and for these teachers to apply in order to solve this problem. There was a survey to this group, and they were inquire about the reasons why they decided to enroll in this bachelor's degree. Also, they were inquired about their English when they had to present the test Saber Pro by the government, their language level when they accessed to the university, the most difficult competences for them. For example, listening and speaking were like the most common. We are going to see that very shortly, and the extra time they had to improve their English strategies from professors, from students, and finally we had the interview that was a interview with the professors, with five professors of this course, to have a professional point of view in which we inquire about the biggest issues with this exact population. So we also discuss about the difficulties they had with working with these people, the causes, the possible causes from the point of view of these difficulties, and what they did in order to overcome this kind of difficulties, taking into account their own experience and taking into account the strategies that were that are available by the bachelor degree. And yeah, also they were inquired about the recommendation to first students and to the university to overcome the problem. So now my partner Samuel is going to present the results.
Okay, so thank you. So, well, as results, we first had to classify like the categories. So we like built two categories. The first category is difficulties of communicative competences in English as a foreign language. In order like to answer the research problem, yes. So in this first table, we have like the biggest issues of first semester students that was like the population selected based on professors' perceptions. Yes. So here we have like, well, the first biggest issue that students have based on professors' perceptions is that they lack of autonomous work. They are like not really aware of what they have to do in order to improve. Yes. So they assume that just doing like homeworks or activities in class, they are like implementing autonomous work and they are going to improve that way. Yes. Uh, Also, we gather that the students, based on professors' perceptions, do not have like accurate learning strategies. Yes. So here we have like based on professors' perceptions, the students implement translation from Spanish to English and students also do not have like timetables to yes, to study. So that's like the problem. Also, we have that correcting language mistakes from like they have learned previously. It's like
Samuel,
kind of difficult for
dejaste de
them.
compartir. Samuel, you stop sharing your screen. We're not seeing your screen.
So
Sorry.
I'm going to share that again because I don't know what happened. No worries. That would be shortly. Here you go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so as I said before, so students do not implement like accurate learning strategies. They use translation from Spanish to English, and they don't have like timetables to study in an autonomous way, let's say. Well, correcting language mistakes. So what they have learned previously, wrong. So probably it's kind of difficult to correct those mistakes from students. Yes, all of this based on professors' perceptions. Also, they're afraid of speaking. They state that students present like anxiety when learning English as a foreign language. Uh, Professors also stated that they lack to have more sources in order to improve their difficulties. They enter with a minimum English level. They don't present like the minimum English level to enroll the program. Also, students have like a bad perception of the class. Based on professors' perceptions, students think that the English class is a space to play, but not to learn or to overcome those difficulties. And also based on the lack of autonomous work, they don't have like the commitment to like improve, to really be aware of they have to improve those difficulties. So the next one. Okay, so also we in this table, in this graphic, sorry, we present like the most difficult communicative competence based on students' perceptions. So here we have that based on the students' perceptions. They stated that speaking and listening were like the more difficult communicative competences for them. The next one, please. And here we have in this table that based on professors' perceptions, they agree with students that speaking is like the most difficult communicative competence for them. But they didn't state that listening was like a difficult communicative competence for students based on professors' perceptions. But instead of it, they stated that writing is like something difficult for them, writing and formal writing. The next one. Okay, so as I said before, the second category that we built for this investigation was strategies to develop communicative competences in English as a foreign language. So we gather both the strategies used by professors and students. Yes. So in this chart, in this graphic, we present like the strategies that professors use in order to help students to overcome those difficulties. So the first one is relied on tutoring. So tutor like the process and like have tutoring sessions in order to help those students with the difficulties they have. Also use of technological tools. So they use listening and reading activities. They use games, social networks, and e-learning tools in order to help those students. Also activities addressed to improve speaking competences. So they implement debates, discussions, they make that students make presentations, role plays. And finally, we have that professors like implement autonomous learning projects in order to students like know how to improve their difficulties autonomously, and also professors create like material in order to students learn in an autonomous way. The next one. So here we have that the strategies used by first semester students are based on relating things relating daily things in English. So have like the environment they have in their daily lives all in English, yes. also use the free time to improve English and use listening activities such as podcasts, listening music, videos, and use of technology, e-learning tools, repetition, and repetition of vocabulary, sounds that they practice with those listening activities. The next one, please. Also, we have that they use readings to practice and to learn more vocabulary. They use also autonomous work. So here we have like a lot of activities that they implement, but well, some of them, such as doing class activities or taking English class notes, that are like the last ones, are like not too much accurate based on professors' perceptions. Yes, because as I said before, professors think that they lack autonomous work, and they students think that they are going to improve their difficulties doing class activities or taking class notes or doing homeworks assigned in class. Yes, so that's like the problem we 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 reflect here, and also a translation from Spanish to English. So that was like another problem based on professors' perception that this specific strategy is not accurate based on professors' perceptions. Yes, and the last one is students like, so students practice with what they like and enjoy. The next one. Okay, so here we have the material used by professors to help first semester students. So they use lyrics training, MyLT. MyLT is a platform that has the English book that the students use in the program. Also the English book to help, especially in speaking and listening communicative competences for those students. The Mountain Challenge, that is an activity that promotes pronunciation improvement. And English, that it's another like e-learning tool. Yes. The next one, please. So here we have also like the tools and the material that first semester students use. So they use all of them are e-learning tools. Yes, Duolingo, YouTube videos, social networks, songs, MyLT, the English book platform, Grammarly. So they use all of these like e-learning tools, which according to previous studies that we researched in this investigation are accurate because e-learning tools provide like the engagement of students and the commitment that they are going to improve, and that with that commitment they are going to improve and they are going to overcome those difficulties in English. Yes, they are going to be engaged in the English learning process. Yes. The next one. So here we have the time of study of first semester students that we gather from the surveys. So they implement among 2 to 2 hours per day. Yes. So most of them implement this range of hours per day to practice autonomously out of the class. Yes. So here we have like another problem because according to the Common European Framework, they are suggested and they are advised to practice more than 2 hours. Yes. So most of them practicing among 2 to 2 hours per day. So that's like another problem that students have based on their performance. Yes. And the next one. So here we have that also the tools that first semester students use are like useful, but just for some communicative competences. So here we have grammar, writing, and vocabulary are like the most uh, are like the communicative competences that are helping are being helped by the tools used by first semester students. Yes. So here we have another problem because they improve in grammar, writing, and vocabulary. Yes, but what about listening and speaking? Yes, so they lack sources to improve on, especially those communicative competences. Yes. The next one. Okay, so as conclusions, we raised that, well, the first one, as I mentioned before, students do not implement enough time to study autonomously. So according to the Common European Framework, they are advised to practice more than 2 hours per day, yes, in order to reach a C1 English level that it's like the level expected to they reach when finishing the program, yes. Also, as I mentioned before, probably more about the strategies implemented by students are not great, such as like taking notes in class or paying attention in class, or also the translation um, from Spanish to English based on professors' perceptions. Yes. And here we have another, like the main causes of those communicative competences based on the graphic of the biggest issues. We rise to a conclusion that, well, previous education probably is something that is causing those low communicative competences because they enter and they enroll the program without the minimum English level required to students get in order to word the redundance enroll the program. Anxiety when speaking, so they are afraid when speaking English or when using English. They are like not in a frequent English environment where they practice not just inside the class but also outside the class all the time English, and they lack sources in order to improve their communicative competences based on the perceptions that professors gave us, and they don't have those sources in order to practice the output, in order to practice the input that they gather, that they gather from the class, yes, so that they can also produce what they learn with the output, yes. And finally, as I said before, students do not enroll the program with a minimum English level. The next one. Okay, so finally, as suggestions from all this investigation, well, first we have that it was necessary to make known like the strategies Uniminuto uses in order to help those students, because there are plenty of strategies, and based on professors' perceptions, they stated that they lack sources to improve their difficulties. Yeah, so here we have Centro de Apoyo a la Experiencia de Aprendizaje, COIL, Take a Trip to the English Universe, Shelter, and Your Skills Matter. All of these all of these like strategies that Uniminuto implement are useful because they tutor the process of students in order to help those students to overcome these difficulties. They promote also communicative communicative improvements with the COIL strategy because they incentivates to speak with different people from different parts of the world. Also, it was necessary to build like a new study model based on supported by experts and other university strategies in order to like to improve the communicative competences, the EFL communicative competences in an autonomous manner. So those strategies that we create in this model wherein just to they practice autonomously, either in virtual or in person. And lastly, we have the final suggestion that we raise here in this slide. Here we have that student that the teachers are advised to have like frequent EFL teaching training courses, yes, in order to provide more high quality standards for the education of these students. And yes, that's it. That was all about our project or presentation. Here we have like the bibliography references in a QR code. So if you want, you can scan the code, and yes, we are all ears. If is there any question, doubt, comment, suggestion?
Okay, thank you, Samuel. We have 2 minutes for questions. Anyone in the audience in Zoom? Any questions? No questions in the chat? Someone in the chat? Okay, thank you very much, guys. It's a very interesting study, the one that you've run. Thank you very much. Now we move to